is Anna Christine D. Salinas, and I will start the discussion by opening a topic with the rich Philippine heritage. The Philippines has a rich history beginning from its earliest days as one of the busiest trading posts in Southeast Asia and later in the Trans-Pacific galleon trade. A period of Spanish colonization spanning 3 centuries then made an indelible meaning to our country. It means that the Philippines is our history, but it also stands for our country. Why? Because of the colonization. So, with the Spanish colonization, our country became their choice because we are rich in natural resources like rice, minerals, sugar, and many more. As well as they need more people to join them, um, they the Filipinos became slave and and they collaborate with the Spaniards and colonize other countries. But for the 3 centuries, they had contributed many efforts to give name to the Philippines. And as of today, there are preserved sites that they had been built during their time, and they are they became an historical sites that has been preserved and honored by the UNESCO. This phenomenal era, along with the American occupation, played a vital role in shaping the Philippines and its people. A vivid past has left its mark all over the archipelago in many different forms that present-day visitors to the country are now discovering. So, along with the American occupation, they had shaped and create a part of history which they give they give efforts to educate the Filipinos. They build some structures, they keep some things that it is important, and they had contribution to our country so that the informations I mentioned kept that I mentioned are kept in the museums and written in textbooks, which in our generation, many visitors came to know about our country so that they came along with other countries and they went to the Philippines to go with the historical sites, to the museums, and read some textbooks to the to our history. So we have sources of information which provides evidences and facts from the past. Um, we can see it or read it from the textbook that was created by our historians, or we can go to the museum which we can see the artifacts, the fossils, that has been collected from the past. There are historical sites that has been naturally emerging, and this is also where we get our natural resources, like the Tubataha Reef National Marine Park. Tubataha Reef National Marine Park, or also called the Tubataha Reef Marine Park. It was honored by UNESCO as World Heritage Sites in 1993. As you can see, this was located to Puerto Princesa along with the middle of the Sulu Sea, and it measures to 32,000 hectares in north and south reefs. This is also the famous scuba diving destination because of its incredible marine biodiversity, which consists of um, large water creatures like sea turtles, coral reefs, various shark species, and other type of fishes. It has 80% of coral cover of 46 coral genres and 376 fish species. So this site has a pristine coral reef that measures 100 meters perpendicular wall, and it has a great lagoon and two coral islands, which is the North Atoll and the South Atoll. So the North Island is the part of Tubataha Reef that became considered as the nesting site of the seabirds of all kinds, like the black noddy. Black noddy is the largest breeding seabird into Bataha Reef, and also the endangered hawksbill turtles. So the coral reefs and gigantic sea sponges are the habitats of the fishes under the sea, like turkey fish, anemone crab, banded sea snakes, nudibranchs, starfish, cat sharks, surgeonfish, batfish, and butterfly fish. It has unusual fox-faced rabbitfish that can usually be seen in the sight, and it is like yellow-brown, unique color, and black in the chest. So, and the hawksbill sea turtles and green turtles are endangered because of the existential threat in the water and land surface. They are laying eggs in the beach, which they incubate it in approximately 60 days, and the born baby sea turtles um, they will climb up in the sand, which the sea turtles dig a hole to lay their eggs, and they will they will spontaneously go to the sea to swim as if they are babies.
Puerto Princesa Subterranean River National Park. The Puerto Princesa Subterranean River National Park is a protected area in the Philippines. The park is located in the St. Paul mountain range on the northern coast of the island of Palawan, about 80 kilometers north of the city of Puerto Princesa, and also it features the world's longest navigable underground and river and one of the most impressive cave systems in the world. In 1999, Puerto Princesa Underground River was inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The legal owner of the site is the city government of Puerto Princesa. The underground river at Puerto Princesa, Palawan was voted in 2012 by the global community as one of the new seven wonders of the world for being the longest navigable subterranean river on January 28, 2012. So, how did the Puerto Princesa subterranean river form? Natural underground rivers like Puerto Princesa in the Philippines are formed when water seeps into cracks in porous rocks. Underground cave systems carved out by these rivers are home to unique plants and animals like a new species of giant spider found in Puerto Princesa. This park features a spectacular limestone karst landscape with an underground river. One of the river's distinguishing features is that it emerged directly into the sea. Its lower portion is subject to tidal influences. The area also represents a significant habitat for biodiversity conservation. The site contains a full mountain to sea ecosystem and has some of the most important forests in Asia, holding the distinction of being the first national park devolved and successfully managed by a local government unit. The park's effective management effective management system is a symbol of commitment by the Filipino people to the protection and conservation of their natural heritage. The park is a popular destination for bird watching and is known for regular sightings of threatened bird species of Palawan peacock pheasant and Philippine cockatoo, and the endemic birds of Palawan scops, owl, swiftlet, hornbill, fly-eater, and blue flycatcher, tit, and flower-pecker. It is blessed to have the Palawan flying fox, oriental small-clawed otter, stink badger, binturong, flying squirrel, mountain tree squirrel, and porcupine. Based on my research, the monkey trail heads through the mangroves along the shoreline, followed by a slow uphill climb to the forest ranger station. One last final stretch on wooden planks and step would end at the subterranean underground river.
The Banawe Rice Terrace or hagdang-hagdang palayan ng Banawe are terraces that were carved into a mountain of Ifugao in the Philippines by the ancestors of the Batat indigenous people. The Ifugao Rice Terraces are the priceless contribution of Philippines ancestors to humanity. It was built 2,000 years ago. For 2,000 years, the high rice field of Ifugao have followed the contours of the mountains. The fruit of knowledge handed down from one generation to the next, and the expressions of sacred traditions and a delicate social balance, they have helped to create a landscape of great beauty that expresses the harmony between humankind and environment. The rice terraces are located approximately 1,500 meters above sea level and covers 10,360 square kilometers of the side of the mountain, and known as Eighth Wonder of the World. The rice terraces are carved with only simple tool and bare hands. Also, the rice terraces of the Philippines Cordillera were declared national treasure in Presidential Decrees 260 1973 and 1505 1978. The rice terraces are likewise protected by the Republic Act No. 10,066/2010, providing for the protection and conservation of the national cultural heritage. Considered as a monument to man's genius in turning a rock and providing terrain into a source of sustenance, the rice terrace stands to be the most awe-inspiring man-made landscape in the Cordilleras. They are also invariably called the starways to the sky. The importance that Banawe rice terraces are expressing can be found on the fact that the area is an actual representation of a 2,000 years old history. The rice terraces illustrate a unique and notable Asian lifestyle that was harmoniously paired with the preservation of the natural settings. And the 2,000 years old Banawe rice terrace symbolize harmony between man and nature.
On December 2, 1999, vegan became part of the UNESCO World Heritage List because of its unique Spanish colonial history in Asia, a well-preserved example of a European trading town in East and East Asia. Its architecture reflects the fusion of cultural elements from the Philippines, China, and Europe, resulting in a culture and townscape that has no parallel anywhere in East and Southeast Asia. Seemingly impervious to time, spared from rebellion and the ravages of war, Vigan has remained unchanged in its many preserved historic sites. More than 180 edifices make it look like a piece of Spain, with its grand cathedral, massive mansions with red tile roofs and spacious balconies, narrow cobblestone streets, horse-drawn carriage, and friendly faces peering out of large windows. Vegan is a place where time stood still. Because of its structure, reflects as multicultural influences in our country, like Spanish, Chinese, and Europeans. That's why UNESCO inscribed this as one of the World Heritage Sites in the Philippines. Looking at the picture, you can picture what it looks like in the past. The well-preserved historical viewings and sightings of this town. San Agustin Church in Intramuros, Manila. Inscribed in the UNESCO World Heritage List in 1993. It was built in 1587. The San Agustin Church is the oldest stone church in the Philippines, the only one that remains as the original evidence of the 16th century Spanish architecture. It has defied several earthquakes and the heavy shelling of both Japanese and American forces in 1945, and now stands as a reminder of grandeur of the past. The structural design of the church is extraordinary. It boasts of the only example in the country of a barrel vault, dome and arched vestibule, supporting its choir loft, all made of stone. Its facade is notable for its two pairs of columns, the lowest pair in the Doric style, the upper pair in Corinthian topped by a pediment surmounted by a cross. The main door, carved out of the Philippine Molave, has a bas-relief of Saint Augustine and his mother, Santa Monica. San Agustin Church represents the art and technology of the Spanish, Chinese, and native cultures fused together to suit human sentiments and faiths that found expression in customs and tradition that were evolved through the centuries. As the best preserved example of an urban ecclesiastical complex in the Philippines, the compound serves not only as a historical document of the Spanish colonial heritage, but also as a repository of the most important works of art and literature of the period.
Hi, I'm Natalie Rose Minga. I will discuss about the Miyakaw Church and Baway Church. So first, the Miyakaw Church in Iloilo. Miyakaw Church in Iloilo, completed in 1797, the Church of Saint Tomas of Villanueva, also known as the Miyakaw Church, is famous for artistic sculptures, relief, and folk motifs carved on its facade. Having withstood typhoons and earthquakes, the church stands as living legacy of the resilience and strong Christian faith of the people of Miyakaw centuries ago. Miyakaw Church in Iloilo Province stands proud, a testament to the resilience and faith of its people. Built in 1787 under the Spanish era, this church was sacked and burned twice by Muslim invaders. Miyakaw Church is a UNESCO Heritage Site and National Historic Treasure recognized for its Baroque-style architectures that bears the influence of three cultures. The church was built with blocks of yellow sandstone held together by mortar made of eggs and crushed limestone. Filipino males provided a labor force, but they made their mark on the artwork. The church is a Spanish influence. In the church's design, these are tassels and pillars, but also see that local arts also have a big influence. The Saint Christopher's image on the facade is supposed to be European, but if you notice, the plant is already coconut. Beside it are papayas and guavas. There's an interplay of cultures and arts at the time. But Miyagaw Church is more than a house of worship with its thick walls and buttresses. It's also location on the highest point of land in town. It also served as the fortress throughout. Throughout the years, Miyagaw Church has gone through wars and revolution, fires and earthquakes and survived. This has been very consistent symbol of the people unity. They were able to prove that they can repel the attacks of the Muslims and they defend their faith. More than 200 years later, Miyagaw Church is the pride of this town and enduring reminder of its cultural heritage. San Agustin Church in Paway, Ilocos Norte. Paway San Agustin Church, built in 1604, is one of the most outstanding variant of earthquake baroque in the Philippines, where the primary consideration was to design the structure for earthquake protection. The facade of San Agustin Church is outstanding, but is the most prominent features is the phalanx of buttresses that juts out perpendicularly from the side walls, purposely to strengthen the walls and the entire structure is against earthquake damage. 14 massive S-shaped buttresses rise in rhythmic cadence from the ground to the roofline. The church is an eye-catcher as it emerges from a beautiful open space, unlike many other churches located
Within in urban settings.
Church construction began in 1604, was finished in 1710. Its bell tower, which was said to have been used as Filipino watchtower during the 1898 uprising against the Spaniards, was completed in the second half of
18th century.
Known for its extravagant coral black buttresses and ornate stone finish, Paway Church has become one of the top tourist destinations in northern Luzon. The St. Augustine Church, commonly known as Paway Church, is a Romantic Catholic church in the municipality of Paway,
Ilocos Norte.
the Philippines. Completed in 1710, the church is famous for its distinct architecture, highlighted by the enormous buttresses on the sides and back of the building. It was declared as National Cultural Treasure by the Philippine government in 1973 and a UNESCO World Heritage Site under the collective group of Baroque churches of the Philippines in 1993. Paway Church is a Roman Catholic church famous for its
Gigantic.
side and back buttresses, a distinct features of Spanish colonial earthquake architecture, dating its construction as early as 1593 and completed by 1710. The church has already witnessed and survived a lot of calamities owing to its preventive Baroque influence structure.
Nuestra Señora de la Asunción in Santa Maria, Ilocos Sur, Church of the Lady of Assumption, or known as Santa Maria Church. The church was designed as an UNESCO World Heritage Site on December 11, 1993. It identified as a heritage site for its massive architecture and fortress appearance. it displays specific features such as altars, high Baroque style, and it demonstrates use of native elements and the depiction of Catholic patron saints wearing traditional clothes, and it is one of the four Baroque churches of the Philippines. The church was built around 1765 and it complex art of clay, bricks and mortar. Santa Maria Church is to face plaza, it less imposing religious and official building group around it. And it said it is the only church in the Philippines have an ambience of Mediterranean hill town and its convent built parallel, and the building of Santa Maria Church reflect an European style and setup because of materials.
Thank you for listening. Goodbye.